Okay, everybody. Hello. Glad to see people here. So today is week 3, day 3 in the library for CAD training. Today we're going to focus on assemblies. So week 1 we did sketches. Week 2 we did like 3D extrusions and stuff. And today we're actually going to put multiple parts together into an assembly that can move and has certain constraints.
So the agenda first, if anyone still has any questions about prior week's content, you can ask them now. After that, we're going to go over general assembly features and tools, and then we have a couple of practice problems lined up with each of the tools and putting all of them together.
So to begin with, you should all get into your Onshape accounts now if you haven't already. So again, you create an assembly just how you would create a folder or within a part studio. You click the plus arrow on the bottom left, and you can create an assembly. And the assembly has, just like for a part studio, there's a specific toolbar with all the features that you can make using an assembly. And you can insert parts from other assemblies, other documents, or from like public documents that have been shared on the web. So there are certain parts that we use frequently that we don't have to actually waste time doing CAD for, because there are public libraries of parts that already exist. You can search those up and insert them into your assemblies as well, like wheels and other things, for example. And then you can make parts together. So just like how when we were creating sketches, you added constraints like dimensions and other details to make them limited and define them properly, mates do the same thing for assemblies. So adding a mate means that two parts have a certain relation to one another that removes a degree of freedom from their motion.
Okay, so after you open up your new document, there should be an assembly tab at the bottom, so you should all click on that. One of the first tools that you should notice once you're there is the insert tool. It's at the top left corner of the screen. So this will be used to insert other parts, sub-assemblies, and other like public documents as well. So if you look on your insert tab right now, in the example right there, you see a list of other part studios that you can open in that document, but you shouldn't have anything there right now because you have a blank document. So there you can click between part studios and assemblies if you want to insert something. At the very top, you see 3 options: current document, other document, and standard content. So current is anything in your, like the document you're in right now. Other documents, you can go through your file system in Onshape. You can go through shared folders, your team folder, or at the very bottom you should see public. That's if you want to access public material. And standard content is just screws, nuts, and other like mounting hardware that you might need.
So for every part that you click on in an assembly, because you can move things around move around in an assembly. If you just insert a part, it'll just move around wherever. So whenever you click a part, there will be this sort of little interface wherever you click on it. So the arrows are for translating it in either X, Y, or Z. These little arcs are for rotating it in each axis, and the squares are for just moving the actual plane. So it's an easy way to see it. And also, each of the axes has a color, and this will go more into when we do mates. Z is blue, Y is green, X is red. So when you're doing mates and moving in a certain axis, you can tell by color which axis you're moving in.
Okay. So just some prior information before we actually get into the mates. So the way mates work is they define relationships between mate connectors and different parts. So mate connector is just a mini coordinate axis system that's formed at critical points on each of the parts. So if you look there on the 2 pictures on the right, on the bottom picture you should see like a circle highlighted with a mate connector in the center. So that's just the mate connector that you use if you want to do something with that hole. It's just the center of the circle. And then on the picture above that, we have a mate connector to the center of the face. So that's just if you want to connect it to something else. So mate connectors are usually found at edges, the centers of edges, and corners, and other critical points like that. So for example, if you have an edge, there's mate connectors on either side with both of the faces that make up the edge. So if you want to access the different ones, you might have to play around with moving your mouse in different positions and rotating the part so you look at it at a different angle, but you should pick that up as we get more practice. And so when you want to see the mate connectors, you have to click for one of the mates, and then as you hover over the part, they should pop up. And once you find the one you want, you just click on it.
Yeah, so, and then once you create a mate, and we'll go into this more later. So on your left bar where you see all of the features you've made, mates look like this. Again, they each have their own particular symbol, and you can edit them. If you create a mate and it looks wrong, you can fix it. There's probably nothing wrong with that. Other than you have to flip the primary axis. You can offset them. So as in, if you want to join two things, if you want to move one of them down, you can get an offset to fix them in a certain position. You can rotate them, and you can also add limits. So if, for example, you have a mate that allows for a certain degree of motion, you can make it so that it only moves apart in a certain axis, a certain amount. And so this is really helpful. Like if we're simulating a piston, we would add limits on how far it extends and retracts. So that way when we move our entire model, we can get an accurate idea of how it'll move in real life. And then the last thing, reorient second axis, changes the angle, and so you just keep rotating. And again, you just right-click on the mates in the little text bar.
If you want to make a few more like fine adjustments, sometimes you think of the normal features, you can actually go and edit the mate connectors themselves. So if you click on the drop down for the mate, there should be options for the mate connectors, and there's more features after that. So the first mate that we're going to be going over is the fasten mate. So this is one you want to take away all degrees of freedom between the two mate connectors. They're just like fixed together in that position. So when you're clicking on your objects, you have to click two mate connectors on different objects. So the first one will stay fixed, and the second one that you click will move towards the first one as you come join with it. And yeah, there should be a symbol that comes up with like the little circle, and that tells you which face is going to be mounted to the other one.
And one thing to note, with this mate and all the other mates, you click the part, so mates are between two parts. The first part you click will be the part that moves to the second part. So if the second part's not constrained, for example, you want to move one part to another one, you click the first one, click the second one will stay in place, the first one will move to it, in whatever way you choose.
Okay, so we have a little practice problem that you can do. Just follow the instructions. We made these parts in a public document, so you should be able to access them and put them together.
Yes, if you go to your main Onshape page and you search in public documents, you can search the keywords at the top, and you should be able to find that. You can make your own copy of the entire document.
They probably want to copy, otherwise they're all going to work in the same document. Right?
Well, they don't have access to it.
Oh, it's all.
They just pull the parts in and insert it to their own assembly.
They can it prompts you like make a copy of this document. So if you're having trouble getting the document, please raise your hand. Okay, guys, does anyone have any real problems with Fasten?
It's fine. There's a thing, you can always experiment and try different things.
If no one says anything, we're just going to move on. So you're all pretty good with Fasten? Okay.
Yeah, that's like actually probably easy.
All right. Next kind of mate is the revolute mate. So it does what it says on the tin. Basically, you just get two objects to rotate. And the way that this one works, it allows them to rotate on one axis, and you can pick what that is. So in the first example, for example, you would click the hole of the block, and you would click the face of the cylinder, and it would line them up. It would make them both orient in a single line, and it would allow them to rotate. And it's also a good example of offset. If you look at the top one, offset, all I did was just make the face come down 10 millimeters in that example. And it doesn't have to be for round objects. In this case, you can make these two things rotate around each other as long as you specify what you want to rotate around what. And again, the first thing you select will be the thing that rotates, the second thing will be the thing that's stationary. And it's helpful for one of the objects to already be fixed. So I talked about this a little bit to some of you, but when you make a new assembly, it's helpful to have at least one of your objects mated fixed to the origin. It just makes it easier to build off of that. Much like when you do sketches and you start at the origin. So again, so the example for this one, if you move along.
Yeah, just one more note about rotate. It can rotate about the axis, but it can't like slide about the axis. The z-axis position is like fixed, but it can still rotate.
It can only rotate. You can't move it after this. In the same assembly, since you guys already have 1x2s with holes in them, you can insert and you can search in other documents for MKCAD-bearings. And this will show you an example of the things we don't have to CAD because they already exist, and we can just pull them into a document. And do a rotational mate with that into the whole of the 1x2.
So you're gonna wanna select the half-inch hex bearing. There's like a drop-down when you click bearing.
Alrighty, next is a mate that we don't use super often, but it's good to know how it works.
Okay, so this is a slider mate. So it's basically a revolute mate, except instead of constraining the z-axis, it can slide along the z-axis and change positions. So usually we don't just use it along with it, we use distance limits. So that tells you can go between this position and this position on the z-axis. So it'll be able to slide in between those positions, but not outside of the movement. So we often use this when we're assembling our pistons. It's one way to do that. So if you go through the instructions and get the parts from that, I think it should already be in the document.
Yeah, it's already in the
document. You should create a new assembly for this, and then just use a slider mate to put the two parts together.
Next is planar mate. This one's really easy. I don't think we need to talk too much about this. If you have two objects, you want a face of theirs to be on the same plane, it doesn't actually constrain the objects like to each other, but it constrains their movement. So in this case, I just selected the face of two objects, and it'll bring them together. You guys might have seen this already. When you select two objects for a mate, it'll just sort of snap them. But once you click check, it'll apply to the other mates. And in this case, if you can see, these two faces are on the same plane now. If I click and drag them, yeah, they're going to move, but they're both going to share this plane forever. And so that's how this works. And so this would be helpful. For example, say if you have two bearings opposite each other and you want them both to rotate in the same way, when you drag one of them, you can mate each face of the hex bearing together, planar, and then they'll both rotate around the same axis. Yes, sir.
What does it mean, like, you can't use them if you need to?
So, if, in theory, let's say I make these two sides planar, and then the tops planar, and then the sides planar, it's the same as a fasten. So, we used to use SolidWorks, and SolidWorks, it was a bit tricky sometimes to, it really wasn't like a fasten. You had to use like 3 different like mates and stuff. So, if you want to make two objects stick together, use a fasten. If you want objects to have limited movement, use a planar. That's what I mean.
Okay, cylindrical mate. This is also like revolute mate, slider mate. It allows it to rotate in the z-axis, but there's no real constraint on the distance at all. So it's just an easy way to get the revolute mate done quickly without looking at offsets and stuff.
And it allows, like as I said, it works the same way as the other one, except you can move it this way or this way. And you can also add limits to this. So I guess you could use this as a slider kind of.
So it's like a mix between the slider and the revolute?
Yes.
It all depends on the number of degrees of freedom that you are constraining. You know, that's what the different things do. And which degrees of freedom.
So this is what we want to get to because we feel that this is important for you guys to at least attempt. So there's a folder in the document you guys are using, or if you don't have the document in, you can import these files. They're in the same place as the other ones. We have color-coded parts and a couple parts you have to import. And yeah, so this is a watered-down chassis. So there's no motors or anything, but this is generally how most of our construction goes. So I don't know if you want to talk a little more about this. But
try working on it and see if you can get it done.
Yeah, so we have these T-plates connecting the 1x2s, and the holes line up. Again, bearings, wheels, and an axis. So this lets you practice your revolute mates, fixed mates, planar mates. And they're color-coded for now, but when you're finished, you can change them all to a nice aluminum gray. It's just a visual thing. But yeah, so make an assembly, import the number of files, and we'll float around to help you guys out.
Are there bearings inside as well, or just bearings on that side?
So if you have time to put bearings on the inside, put them on the inside. But for now, I feel like we should just get them on the outside. And again, if you have any more questions, try finishing this up. And then there's also really good Onshape tutorials. We'll send out this presentation on the announcements, or I guess the general chat. We'll make sure that you guys all see it on Slack. And we'll link the presentation. The slide after this one tells you how to get to the Onshape tutorial that does assemblies, and that has a lot of more detailed practice, and you can do it at your own pace with tons of tutorials and stuff. All right.
And remember, you can work on this at home. There's nothing stopping you from, if
Yes.
you want to experiment and
Please do this at home.
stuff at home, you can log in and if you have issues, post on which channel?
Catch 2019. Yes.
All right.
All right. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yep.